You know that person who's always on, the one who catches the tiny flicker in a fluorescent light, the subtle shift in a friend's tone, and the logical flaw in a movie plot all at the same time? Maybe that person is you. You've been told your mind is a gift, a golden ticket to an easy life. But let's be honest, for those living with an IQ north of 145, it doesn't feel like a superpower. It feels like an invisible prison. If you've spent your life feeling like an alien wearing a human mask, I want you to know something. You aren't too much. You're just operating on a different frequency. Here's the thing. This isn't just about being smart. It's biological. Research into hyperbrain theory by Dr. Ruth Karpinski suggests that a high IQ brain isn't just faster, it's hyper-excitable. While most people see a tree, you're processing the fractals in the leaves, the carbon cycle, and the passage of time simultaneously. Your nervous system is perpetually dialed to 11. It's a high-performance engine constantly overheating because the world around it is built for a much slower pace. But there's more going on beneath the surface, and let's be honest about the cost of that speed. Does the sound of a loud colleague or a flickering bulb feel less like a nuisance and more like a physical assault? That's your sensory processing working overtime. It's exhausting, but the psychological isolation is worse. Psychologist Lita Hollingworth identified a communication gap, a 30-point IQ difference that makes meaningful connection almost impossible. Think about that. If you're at 145 and the person across from you is at 100, the intellectual distance is the same as an average adult trying to have a deep conversation with a child. So you learn to mask. You dumb yourself down. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You play a character just to avoid being called arrogant. Masking isn't a solution. It's a slow-motion eraser of the self. You're constantly translating your thoughts into a simpler language, leaving you profoundly unheard and eternally lonely. Even your sadness is different. People might call it moodiness, but in psychology, we call it existential depression. When your brain is wired to see the big picture, you can't help but see the fragility of every system. You see the code behind the matrix, while everyone else is just enjoying the steak. It's the curse of knowledge. Once you see the complexity, you can never go back to the bliss of ignorance. So, where does that leave you? You're facing a binary choice. You can continue to hide, treating your intelligence as a defect to be managed through avoidance and social performance. Or you can choose the path of healthy peace. That means accepting that normal is just a statistical average, not a moral requirement. It means finding your tribe, the rare few who speak your frequency, because isolation isn't a badge of honor, it's a health risk. Your intelligence isn't a sentence to be served, it's a length. And while it shows you the shadows, it also allows you to see a level of beauty that others can't even imagine. If you could drop the mask for just 1 hour, what is the one thing you'd finally say out loud? Reflect on that, and let's talk in the comments. Because if you've ever wondered why this level of insight often leads to a strange physical need for total isolation, you need to see what the data says about the social brain in our next discussion.